This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today you will consider this like your vitamin or mineral for your heart and mind. And wherever you receive podcasts, will you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. This will enable others to locate this podcast. And please spread the word around. You can find Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom at iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, anywhere fine podcasts are found, including Spotify. If you'd like to get on my calendar to see if there's any possibility of me coming alongside and being of assistance to you to help you, to enable you to reach your dreams faster, I would be happy to do that. Just go to drronblake.com/call, drronblake/call. You'll get on my calendar and I'll give you a call and we'll see what the possibilities are. Today I want to discuss the issue of working in teams. Now, when I started out, and as many of you know, in 1981 I became a pastor. I've done a few things along the way, but I was pretty much solo. I worked by myself except for the lay people, the volunteers in the church. And so working in teams was something I had to learn, from ground zero. And yet I don't know that there's anything you could ever be involved with that's more rewarding, that's more encouraging, that's more uplifting than working together in teams. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about team building, working together, working in that collaborative kind of a way. As a matter of fact, what is the advantages and what do I believe are the important reasons we should work in teams? Let me give you the first one. The first one is it is the area of collaboration. When you're working by yourself, you will only know what you know. There'll be no one else speaking into the situation, and there's just some real power, there's some real blessing that comes from working in a collaborative effort. And so I would say right toward the top of any list when you talk about the importance of working in a team is the word of collaboration, because we're all different. We all have different backgrounds, different personalities, different experiences. And when you bring that together, because all of the things that I've just mentioned, well, let me even go farther than that. All of life is learning. Every conversation with a family member, every good or bad circumstance that you have experienced has added to who you are and your view of the world and how things operate. Now, you've had a lot of wonderful experiences. I have no doubt about it. Every human being has. But you grow that exponentially when you begin working in teams, and their experiences, and perhaps something to them that may have even seemed random at the time, has added some real significance to their life, and there's real power in collaborating. A little side note of what I think helps with team building, may not be the main reason, but it's a nice reason, and that is it improves morale. All of us go through dips and highs, lows, and everything in between. There are some days when every human being has some discouraging seasons. What I have found that when you work in teams, and maybe on that particular date you are a little bit down or discouraged, but there'll be someone on the team that is doing well and helps build your morale and really throws you a lifeline, helps pull you out of those dark places sometimes. And so there's just something about working in teams that, besides the collaboration, really helps us in the area of building and strengthening morale. The third thing that I would mention of why I believe it is so key for all of us to be working in teams and to be building teams is because of the situation of needing to problem solve. Again, some of you by nature are really pretty good problem solvers. You really have it all together. You're really doing quite well at it. But it is the truth that not one of us is as smart as all of us, nor as insightful as all of us. And I have found that just talking out a problem with a person or a group of people and getting different insights and different inputs really does seem to put problem solving almost on steroids. And it just seems to be, I think it's more than seems to be, I think in actuality, it is easier to solve problems when you have more than one person evaluating, looking at, seeking answers, talking through the possible scenarios, even role playing. It's just problem solving seems so much easier when done in a group setting. The fourth reason that I think working in teams is essential, it is a sense of a support system. And all of us need support. Oftentimes, the reason people give up, throw their hands up in despair, walk off, walk away, throw in the towel, whatever cliche you want to use, is because there was a support system lacking. And when their energy was low, when their spirits were down, they thought they had no other options. They thought there was nothing else to do, so they just gave up. A support system helps with this in that says, don't give up. Together we'll make it. We can do this. The great thing about working in teams in the support system is by its very nature, it builds trust. We have learned to trust the team. Another great area of a support system is it allows some of the support system to really specialize in fields where they have lots of experience or lots of training or both. It's very hard when you are just the only problem solver in an organization. You have to really operate in that function and function more as a generalist. Whereas if you work in a team, you can afford to have more specialists because the rest of the team is kind of covering some of the other bases, and they can go deeper and look into problems and really research something and really find some marvelous nuggets of research and truth that help the overall team. Whereas if they were by themselves, they would not have the time because of all the other things they would need to do to really be able to glean out those things that they help us with. So that's an important aspect to being a part of a team. It seems to me that those who work in teams also seem to be the group that have more clear goals in mind. Oftentimes, if it's just one person, you may know internally what you're talking about and what you're thinking about, and in fact, what you mean when you give a very nebulous sounding goal, it just doesn't sound very concrete. Well, you don't have that luxury when you're working in a team. The team has to understand clearly what the goal of the team is. What are their roles and responsibilities? And right at the beginning of this team building, it seems that there's much more effort putting into making sure that the goals are clear, crystal clear, and understandable, and that not just one or two or three people understand, but the entirety of the team has a clear picture in mind and clearly understands what the goals are in fact. That is an important aspect to working in teams. I've often seen where poor communicators became better communicators because communication is key. It is absolutely essential when you're working in teams. And so the communication becomes much more open. It's easier to get feedback from people you have confidence in, you work with, you trust. They're not trying to put you down. They're trying to understand. And it forces us all to hone our message, to peel back all the things that aren't necessary, and to really tighten up our understanding and our communication. The other thing I have discovered is that oftentimes it is easier for a team to be adaptable than an individual. When we are working on projects by ourselves, it's quite easy for us to take personally any criticism, complaints, or someone saying, have you thought about this? Have you done this? Could you have done this better? But the team, because we all own it, just seems at time to be more adaptable and flexible. I think it builds confidence to work in teams for several reasons that I've already mentioned. The specialists are really freed up to get us some specialized information. The generalists kind of are the mortar that keeps everything together, and we're able to bounce the ideas off of each other. We're communicating. We've honed the message. The goals are quite clear. And all of those things together lead to a boost in confidence. Another thing that I like about working in teams is teams seem to be idea generators. I can generate some ideas, and I've even gone through exercises where you think you have generated all the ideas you continue to work on it and drill deep. But it seems that there's only so far that a individual can go. But when you have a team of individuals, it seems it just becomes a wonderful laboratory for generating ideas. I've already mentioned this, but another great thing of working in teams is it shares the workload. The workload doesn't seem to be as ominous and heavy as it can be and feels when we alone are responsible for the outcome. And so for no other reason but self-defense, get some folks around you who have ability and talent and skill and let them share the workload. The other thing about working in teams is it helps us to be able to use our strengths. I've already mentioned that. If you're a researcher, if you're someone who likes to go deep and really get into something, you're able to use that strength that you might not be able to use as easily if you were working by yourself. So teams allow each of us to really use our strength. I think perhaps one of the greatest reasons to work in teams is the fact that I think it's a real boost in productivity. I know that I can put my contribution in, she will put her contribution, this one will put their contribution in, and together we'll all be productive. And if several members of the team are doing their best work and are being productive, this just almost exponentially improves all of our productivity, and it seems that we can get more and better done in less amount of time. It was Helen Keller who said, "Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much." And you'll only get your goals with the help of others, said George Shinn. If you really want to reach goals, it's going to take other people helping you. And there is a marvelous strength in unity. I don't know, you may be a solopreneur and you just really need to build a team, even if it's a volunteer team. And instead of seeing a team as something that slows you down and they don't work as fast or as effectively as you do, try to work in teams and see if you won't notice some of these results that I described today. You have been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today that this has been for you like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts, would you please go right now and subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It will be helpful. And as I've said earlier, you can find this wherever the podcasts are received. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.